Your parents told you renting is throwing money away. Your real estate agent says the same thing. Even your coworkers give you that look when you say you still rent. But here's the problem. Almost none of them have actually run the numbers. And when you do, the answer is not what most people think. In this video, I'm going to show you the real math, dollar for dollar, so you can decide based on reality, not guilt, pressure, or outdated advice. Picture this. It's Thanksgiving. Your uncle is bragging about his kitchen renovation. Your cousin is talking about how much equity she's built. Then someone turns to you and says, "So, you're still renting?" And the way they say it isn't curiosity, it's judgment. In America, home ownership isn't just treated like a financial decision. It's treated like a character test. If you own, you're responsible. If you rent, people assume you're behind. But here's what's wild. Nearly 1 in 3 homeowners in the US spends more than 40% of gross income on housing. That's what being house poor looks like. So before we keep repeating that, buying is always smarter, let's do something most people never do. Let's look at the math. The most repeated line in personal finance is, when you rent, you're just paying someone else's mortgage. Sounds brutal. But what does rent actually buy you? It buys you shelter. It buys you zero maintenance surprises. If the furnace dies at 2 a.m., that's your landlord's $5,000 problem, not yours. It buys you zero direct property tax bills, which can save you thousands a year. And it buys you something people massively undervalue, flexibility. You can move for a better job. You can downsize if income drops. You're not locked into a 30-year commitment in a city you may not even want to be in 5 years from now. Now compare that to buying. You purchase a $400,000 house. You put 20% down, that's $80,000 up front. Your mortgage payment is around $2,100 a month. And here's the part nobody likes to show. In year 1, about 65% of that payment goes to interest, not equity. Interest. You're sending the bank roughly $1,400 a month and only building about $700 a month in ownership. So who is really throwing money away? Both the renter and the buyer are paying for housing. The real question is, what happens to the money left over? Let's make it simple. 2 people, same age, same city, same income, $90,000 a year. Person A buys a $400,000 house. They put 20% down, get a 30-year mortgage at 6.8%. And after mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance, their monthly housing cost is about $2,800. Person B rents a similar place for $1,800 a month. That's a $1,000 monthly gap. But person B does the important part. They invest that extra $1,000 every month into a total stock market index fund, averaging 8% annually. Now here's where it gets interesting. After 7 years, about how long the average American stays in a home before selling, Person A has built roughly $52,000 in equity. Sounds decent. But Person B, that $1,000 a month invested at 8%, grows to about $109,000. That means the renter's ahead by roughly $57,000. And that's before we even talk about the $80,000 down payment the buyer had to lock up. If the renter had invested that $80,000 on day 1, that could add roughly $40,000 more in growth over the same period. Now, to be fair, the homeowner may also get appreciation. If the house grows at 3% a year, that $400,000 house becomes worth about $492,000 after 7 years. That's about $92,000 in appreciation. But then, subtract roughly $130,000 in interest, plus around $42,000 in taxes and maintenance. And suddenly the story changes. The point isn't that buying is always bad. The point is that the math is a lot closer than people think. And in a lot of markets right now, it actually favors the renter. So when does buying actually make sense? This comes down to something called the break-even horizon. That's how long you need to stay in the home before buying becomes cheaper than renting and investing the difference. In 2026, With mortgage rates near 7% and home prices still elevated, the break-even point in many major cities is around 7 to 10 years. In expensive coastal markets, it can be 12 years or more. Ask yourself this: are you truly confident you'll be in the same house, in the same city, with the same job for the next decade? If the answer isn't an immediate yes, the math says, wait. That's not the question most people ask at the open house, because the real estate agent does not get paid when you decide to keep renting. This decision doesn't just affect your net worth, it affects your stress. The Federal Reserve has found that financially stretched homeowners often report higher stress and anxiety than renters at similar income levels, not lower, higher. And that makes sense. If your housing cost is eating 40% of your paycheck, every surprise becomes a crisis. Car repair? Crisis. Braces? Crisis. Layoff rumors? Now you're worried about your job and your house. Meanwhile, the renter with cash reserves and investments has options. They can relocate. They can take career risks. They can walk away from a bad situation. Financial flexibility is not just a money advantage, it's a life advantage. So here's the framework. Before you buy, ask yourself 4 questions. 1. Will you stay at least 7 years? If not, renting and investing is probably better. 2. Is your total housing cost under 28% of gross income? If not, you may be buying stress instead of security. 3. Do you have a 6-month emergency fund separate from your down payment? If not, one repair bill can knock you into debt. 4. Are you actually investing the difference if you rent? Because renting only wins if that extra money gets invested. Buying a home can be a great decision, but it is not automatically a great decision. Run your numbers. Make the choice that fits your life, not the one that sounds impressive at Thanksgiving dinner. If this breakdown helped, like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one.